A reading from the letter of Paul to the Galatians. Brothers and sisters, we who know that a person is not justified by works of the law, but through faith in Jesus Christ, even we have believed in Christ Jesus, that we may be justified by faith in Christ, and not by works of the law, because by works of the law no one will be justified. For through the law I died to the law, that I might live for God. I have been crucified with Christ. Yet I live, no longer I, but Christ lives in me. Insofar as I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who has loved me and given himself up for me. I do not nullify the grace of God. For if justification comes through the law, then Christ died for nothing. The word of the Lord.
Our second reading comes from the letter of Paul to the Galatians. We are delving into the mystery of this marvelous love of God expressed to us through forgiveness. In the second reading, we see the same dynamics already expressed in the first reading and the experience of King David with the loving and compassionate God. Here, St. Paul tells us that he was loved by God in Jesus Christ. A direct statement. I have experienced the love of God through Jesus Christ. In fact, God has loved me to the extent of Jesus dying for me, offering his life for me. Now, we can sense how St. Paul was really overwhelmed by the presence of this God who is love. The God who will give everything, his Son, and his Son who will offer his life for each one of us. For St. Paul, this was real. This is not just a figment of the imagination. This is not just a statement that comes from some historian. He experienced this in a revelation. He was convinced this is true. I am a sinner, yet I am loved. And God offered his life for me. Now, in that context, what was the response of St. Paul? Let us realize that St. Paul was a Pharisee who was zealous. He was meticulous in the observance of the traditions and the law. And so he was trained in observing the law. Now, but with the experience of love from God through the death of Jesus, his perspective changed. He realized that the law and the external observance of the law do not change the heart of the person. We are not justified. We are not given a new heart, a new spirit by an external manifestation of our commitment to an external law. In the face of the God who loves us so, he says, my response is faith. Faith which is a surrender of myself to the God who has given himself to me. God loved me, I believe in that, and I surrender myself to God in faith. And I am interiorly changed. I am a new person. With this mutual exchange, I believe, according to St. Paul, he believes that it is God living in him. So, dear brothers and sisters, this is the marvel of God's love. that forgives sinners, that justifies sinners, that makes us live not only by our human life, but enables us to live with the very life of God. So again, dear brothers and sisters, let us not hesitate to approach God. He only wants to embrace us with His love. And let us not only love Him, let us believe in Him. And you will have a new heart, a new person.